Hey there, I'm Amy from thecrazycraftlady.com and welcome to Viewer Crafting Requests Valentine Edition. So this is a request from someone who left a comment on a Christmas ornament craft asking if I could make a Valentine version, and I thought that is a really good idea. So I'm going to make it. I had a little extra time this week to sneak in another craft tutorial, so here we are. If you have ever shopped at the Dollar Tree, or if you have followed along with my dollar store crafts for any amount of time, you will know I'm a big fan of the famous Tumbling Tower game. So these have been around a while at the Dollar Tree, and in fact, it's a better deal now than it was before because it used to come like in a shorter version, and now it's like a big stack. And all it is, it's just these little wooden blocks. It looks like if you've ever played the Jenga game, it's just like that, only it's like their off-brand version, and the pieces are a little bit smaller, but really nice. Just like they're all uniform in size, they're all sanded down, they're solid wood, unpainted, perfect for crafting. So we're going to whip up a quick Valentine craft. I'm going to use a free printable that I designed. The link will be in the description to my blog where you can get the free printable. You can just download it straight away, nothing crazy. But these are very similar to a couple other Christmas ornament crafts that I made this year. Well, I guess last year. Yeah, it's 2022 that I made in 2021. So I'll link to those as well if you want to get into Christmas crafting. But let's get going, and we're going to make a quick Valentine craft. All right, so here we are. I've got some of my Tumbling Tower pieces. I've got a big bag of them left over from before, but you can tell I've stocked up. I've got like half a box here. I've got a full box here. So I'm gonna have to use these up on more projects, but they're just little blank wood pieces, and I'm gonna grab some of my Deco Art Americana acrylic craft paint. We've got baby pink, we have snow or titanium white, and we have primary red. Anyone who's watched any of my other Valentine videos, I hope you are proud of me for my use of red today. It's a big deal for the Crazy Craft Lady. I'm using something other than neutrals. I don't know why I struggle with using red so much, but here we are. All right, so I'm just gonna, I think I might just paint right out of my tubes. So when I store my paints, I store them upside down so that they're always ready to go. But we're just going to give these a quick coat of paint. Nothing too fancy, but I do put parchment paper down. Parchment paper is kind of my secret weapon when I am painting things that need to be painted like on all sides. So technically, and the reason is because it, will not stick, right? Like the paint surface. So like if you're just doing like a light coat. But, so technically, like if you're gonna make, I'm gonna do these a couple different ways, but like I'm gonna be putting these together. Like you put 3 of them together, or you put 4 of them together to make a frame like this, right? Okay, so whether you're gonna put them together like this or like this, so if you want to get really technical, you could say, well, I don't need to paint this inside edge or this inside edge right here because they're going to be glued together. Or I don't need to paint this edge right here because it's going to be covered by glue. I tried to play that game when I did my Christmas craft, and honestly, it was more hassle than it was worth because I could never remember like which piece was which, and I got myself really kind of turned around. So now I'm going the route of I'm just going to paint all the surfaces. It's going to take me 10 extra seconds. And in all honesty, like you technically wouldn't need to paint the back of this, but I tend to err on the side of I like to make all sides of my projects look finished even if they're not going to show. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to do quick coats of paint on a bunch of pieces in red, white, and pink. And then we're going to start assembling our little ornaments. All right, so we have our painted little tumbling tower pieces in red, white, and pink. You can see, like, I didn't do a totally full coat, you know, you can use a little dry brush technique. Plus, if you do that, the pieces dry faster. And then I left some unfinished just for fun. Now, it's time to assemble these, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to assemble your ornaments. So the first one is just a flat 3 across. And you're going to use 2 types of glue, and this is how I like to do most of my wood projects. I like to combine E6000 and hot glue. The hot glue gives you immediate hold, so you don't have to wait for this to dry before moving on to your next step. But the E6000 is what makes this project stay together in the long term. So you want to use both. And what I do is I'll do 2 little dabs of E6000. 2 little dabs of hot glue, and that may even be too much. And then I slide them together, press them together, and I like to do this on a flat surface so that these are nice and flat together. So then E6000, hot glue, and then press them together real tight. Then you got to move quick before the hot glue dries, otherwise you're going to end up with gaps between your little wooden pieces. So I'm going to repeat that with my other 3 colors, and then we'll go on to decorate. All right, there we have those all set, and now we're just going to decorate with just plain black paint. So whatever you got. This is DecoArt Americana acrylic paint in lamp or ebony black, but use whatever you got. Fine point paintbrush. And then I cheated. I've got my little post-it note here. I kind of planned out what I'm going to do. And you could easily use vinyl. Like if you have a Cricut machine, cut whatever you want. But I'm going to freehand this with a pencil, and then I'm going to follow it up with black paint. So if you really botch this with the pencil, you can erase it, use like a good quality eraser, or you could always paint over it, or worst case, flip it over, right? But we got our little pencil. And I'm just going to very gently go over this with the black paint. Nothing much to it. But like I said, if you have, stickers would be a great option. Some super cute stickers. I'm trying to talk and do fine detail work at the same time. Ooh, it's a struggle. Okay. But cut vinyl. Go into Cricut Design Space. If you have Cricut or Silhouette, just type in, Valentine's. There's a million different cut files. You could do plain black vinyl, you could do layers, whatever. I would probably just do like permanent adhesive vinyl on this because it's such a small project. You could try to do heat transfer, but I always get hesitant on painted surfaces. But whatever floats your boat. Okay, XOXO, easy peasy. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. So all you do is, like, I just Googled, or I typed into Pinterest, like, Valentine signs or whatever if you want to get inspiration, but just write it out with a pencil and then paint over it. And then the only other thing is you have to decide, do you want it, like, horizontal or vertical as far as your little pieces? And I think all mine are going to be horizontal, just because. And then your second option here is to make little picture frames. And we're gonna kind of go out of order on this because I'm gonna hang these up differently than I did last time. So last time I made these little frames, and then I took a little piece of ribbon, tie just a simple loop, and then you have that loop as your hanger, right? So this got the tail end of this little loop here, got hot glued to the back of, you know, the top of this frame, and then I put the picture behind it. So that's totally an option, so you can do that. But this time I'm gonna use some hardware. It's a little bit more involved, but it's not too crazy. So you need just little screw eyes. They came in a 100 pack. I got these at Home Depot, so I have a ton, so I can make lots of ornaments. And I find that it's just easier to add the screw eyes to a single wood piece before you assemble your little frame. And so I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm going to drill a pilot hole here. Okay. So you have one right on the edge and one a little bit indented. And that's because when you assemble your frame, right, you want the top of the frame is going to look like that. So once you have the little pilot hole, you should pretty easily be able to just add these little screw eyes to the top. If you have a hard time getting them in, you can always use like a pair of pliers or something, but this is pretty straightforward. There we go. And then it's the same process with the E6000 and the hot glue, only you're working on a much smaller surface. So on this one, you had, you know, that full length. So this is just a little bit smaller. So you're gonna do just one dab of each type of glue instead of two. And I find, once again, it's really easiest to keep these laying flat on your work surface and then press them together. So you've got the first three assembled, and then when it's time to add this last piece, you're going to have to add the glue onto two ends of it. I have on more than one occasion added glue to like the wrong side of the Jenga piece, and so don't beat yourself up too badly if you do the same thing. So I'm going to speed this up and I'm going to assemble the rest of my little frames, and then we're going to fill them with artwork. Now it's time to fill our little picture frames, and I just whipped up this quick printable. It is available on my blog. I will link to it. Totally free. Just hop on over to the blog post with this tutorial in it and find the download button, and you can print this off and cut these out to fill your little mini frames. I would recommend printing this out on cardstock and not just printer paper, so you have a little more substantial backing to your frame, but it's ultimately up to you how you finish these off. But I just went with buffalo check because you all know I can't help myself. It's a problem. I'm gonna be real sad when buffalo check goes out of style. I feel like it's been around for a while and it's probably gonna be on its way out, and I'm just not gonna be able to let go. So Oh well. Okay. Got these cut out. And if you trim these, like there's a little black border on here, trim the black border off. So trim just inside the black border, and then you should be able to just pop that inside the frame. So all you do for that is a quick outline of hot glue, work quickly, and then smooth this onto the back. All right, and now the final thing to do is to hang these up. So like I said, you could have done like the loop method where before you hot glued this paper backing on, you would have hot glued this loop to the back and then hot glued the paper over it. I'm gonna do something a little bit extra. You could use ribbon, you could use twine, use whatever you got. I'm gonna use wood beads and wire. And I've got these little tiny wood beads. I don't have enough of the super tiny ones, so I'm gonna use a mixture of super tiny and tiny, but it's totally up to you. And all I'm going to do is string one side of the wire onto one of these screw eyes and give it a couple twists. And then I actually like portioned these out and counted them. And so it should be 2 of these large ones and then a bunch of small ones, then 2 more large ones. But use, like I said, use whatever you want. I'm gonna add these on and then twist it off at the end. All right, there we have all my little wood beads strung up. Run this through the other screw eye. It's always nerve-wracking working with wood beads on wire because I feel like you're just like one wrong move away from absolute catastrophe and wood beads flying everywhere. Okay, give that a little twist there, and then I'm just gonna cut that excess off. And then you have a little farmhouse style hanger. I mean, if buffalo check and wood beads don't scream farmhouse style, I don't know what does. So I'm gonna repeat that and add little hangers to the rest of these and add hangers to these guys, and we'll be in business. But that's it. Those are my 2 little style of Dollar Tree tumbling tower ornaments for Valentine's Day. I ended up just stringing mine up into a garland instead of hanging them on a tree because I did not do a Valentine tree this year. But if you think about it, leave me a comment below and let me know how you would display these little ornaments for Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for following along. Until next time, happy making. Bye.